for all of us, trying to figure out how do we make ourselves unique is kind of the next evolution.
You better have some level of strategic thinking going on when you're talking to clients. Otherwise, I mean, so many jobs are going to be replaced with AI.
We're uniquely positioned to know more about video and story than any other marketers out there. And I think we should all be leveraging that, taking advantage.
On this episode of the podcast, we're talking about navigating the evolution of video marketing and crafting distinct landing pages and offers for what you do in order to grow your business. In order to grow your video business. What's up, my friend? Hey, it's Ryan Coral from the Grow Your Video Business podcast, where I make no flubs, no errors. This show is perfect, and that's how you know I'm not AI. I am Ryan Coral. I don't think I already introduced myself, so I'm super glad that you're here. This show, I started this show in 2016. We're getting close to 400th episode, and it's really designed to help other video business owners. I'm a video business owner myself. I've got a team. We've got a studio in Metro Detroit. We're doing the thing. We're trying to do the thing better. And on this show, we just dive into all of the things that aren't necessarily shooting and editing, but how to grow, how to sell better, how to market better, how to hire your first or your next employee, those kinds of things. In this episode, it's kind of, nitty gritty, like marketing and approach and strategy, things that you should be thinking about. And I say the word should. Yes, I think you should be thinking about them, because really, unless you're just a freelancer and you feel like you're cool with doing gigs and not really having predictability in that kind of business, but if you're more just really thinking like, no, I want to take this thing more seriously. I want to create some predictability in this work. I want to charge more. I want to work with better clients. Then this is the right place for you, because that's what I'm trying to do. That's what so many of the people that I have on this show are trying to do. If they're not video people, they still have this mindset. So I'm glad that you're here. I do have a free workshop for you. It's called the Six-Figure Filmmaker Workshop. Certainly that's what it's called. And this it's about a 45-minute workshop where I go through what I think are some of the best things that you can be doing in this business, or to turn your side hustle into a legit business. I've taken my 20 plus years, packed it into this video workshop. So you can download that and get access to it by going to studiosherpas.com/workshop. I've got a lot of cool stuff happening, a lot of announcements that are coming up. And once you get into our email flow, when you sign up to that workshop, you can unsubscribe from our emails anytime, but you're not gonna want to, because they're really good. They're on point. If you're a filmmaker and you're really trying to scale this thing, then this is, it's good. Trust me. I'm such a good marketer. You'll be getting emails and announcements of all the cool stuff that we've got coming up, designed to help you grow, to help you scale, to help you not be a slave to this work, but really to enjoy it and to do it well and to live the kind of life that you want to live. So sign up to the free workshop, get on our email list, and I promise to add value. And if there's some point in over time that you're not getting the value, then just unsubscribe and we can still be friends, and it's fine. So studiosherpas.com/workshop. Now let's get into today's episode. What's up, friends? Welcome to another episode of the show. I'm so excited for this episode. I think I say that all the time, but this one I'm particularly excited about. I've got Ita Udo-Ema. Dang it. Ita Udo-Ema with me on the show, who I'm so embarrassed that Ita, I cannot believe that you have not been on this show. You've been in the Studio Sherpas world, I think, before I was.
I know it was very early on. I was trying to remember kind of when or how I discovered you guys. But yeah,
it was back in the Matt era,
Yeah, absolutely.
I think it's been a long time.
Yeah.
But man, I appreciate you. It's been fun having you along this journey. Before we hit record, I was asking Ita for some advice on the community and just some other stuff, and so I'm grateful for you and so excited that we're doing this. Ita is the video strategist and founder of View from Above Entertainment, and you're in Arizona, right?
That's correct.
Okay, yeah.
Beautiful. Mesa,
So it's got to be hot and sweaty there, is my guess. It's a cool 73 degrees. Actually, not cool. It's actually a really nice 73 degrees here in Michigan. But give us a picture of what does your business look like these days?
My business these days, a lot has changed, I think, like for a lot of folks.
Yeah.
With, well, one, going through everything that we did in 2020 with the pandemic and all of
Yep.
that, and just kind of trying to come back from that. And then as we come out of that, all of the new toys and tools, the AI and shifts in technology, I've really gotten to the point where I wanted to start reevaluating kind of
Yeah.
what I want my business to be.
Yeah.
Actually, even before 2020, I had started realizing that I needed to make a shift in the kind of content I was creating, or rather, how I was positioning my business, because competing on price was not going to be a thing that was going to work for me.
Yeah.
Just, a short story. There's a gal here in Arizona who is also a filmmaker and very nice. I've met her a couple times, and I can't really speak to what she does, but I just started realizing that, for all I know, she's married, has a husband who's a lawyer, and she's doing this work for fun. And there's no way I can compete on price with her.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
what do I do? I need to make what I do different. It's got to be about the experience.
Yeah.
And so in recent months, I've been trying to level up that experience that I bring to clients, how I engage with them, how I present, how I pitch, all of these things to make what I do different than just the films, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think that's. I mean, I'm in a very similar place where I feel like, how many times have I reinvented this business? Okay, I went from wedding filmmaker to corporate commercial filmmaker, and then corporate commercial filmmaker to what am I right now? What do I get excited about? What do I want to do? What do I want the next 5 or 10 years to look like? So you're definitely not alone in the, reevaluating. It's smart to do that quarterly, yearly, to really think through, like, do I like doing this? Do I still have this passion? And if I don't, like, where did it go, or why? Is it something, what changed? And but what the heck do I want to do? So I definitely can relate with you there. I'm curious to know, like, what kind of what makes you unique in your approach, as you were mentioning. You want to be able to stand apart from somebody that might just be competing on price and just might be, pushing the buttons and doing things.
Yeah, I think one of the ways I'm trying to set myself apart is a lot of the processes that I use, as far as so when I'm pitching, I'm a huge fan and kind of I'm well bought into the team over at Muse Storytelling.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
kind of just absorbing as much of their material as I possibly can, and figuring out what makes my brand or what my interactions different. And a lot of it has to do with just kind of how I talk to clients. I think we talk a lot about, we want to solve a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Well, one of the things that I do differently, I think, than some folks is I'm a shill for YouTube. So I talk about having a YouTube first strategy. And I think that's something that makes me different than some others, right? Because I spent time learning how that process works and how to build a channel and things like that.
Mm-hmm. So if I'm a potential client, like who's the kind of client that you would say, like, hey, we should talk about YouTube as a strategy?
The clients that I'm talking to right now primarily are like thought leaders, coaches, consultants, professional speakers, people who are looking to build their brand authority.
Yeah.
And, I'm borrowing from Muse Storytelling, talking about how we want to make sure that their story, their true life story, goes out and connects with an audience. Yeah. So I'm really focusing there. Also talking about how YouTube is the second search engine in the world, and how we can leverage that discoverability
Yeah.
in a way that will get their name out there. I think a lot of the clients that I talk to, they see YouTube as just a place to watch videos, right?
Yeah.
And I can make the argument that YouTube is fundamentally different than TikTok or Instagram Reels because of the way it was built.
Mm.
And I think being able to share those kinds of insights puts me in a position as an expert
Yeah.
in that kind of video strategy realm.
And then what if I'm a construction, like I own a construction company or I own a law firm? Are you bringing up YouTube strategy with them at all?
I would, yeah.
Yeah.
That's not the kind of those aren't the kind of leads I get mostly, but
Yeah, sure.
if I did, if I'm talking to somebody, then yes, I would definitely be bringing that up.
Yeah. I love that, man. That's really smart. That's why I love doing this show because I take notes every time I interview someone. I'm like, what would it look like to do that? But honestly, when you look at when you're asking questions and what are your hopes for your business and what do you need, and you called me asking for a brand film or an explainer video. But when you start really pressing in and trying to understand what it is that they're after at the end, not just the video, but you want the video so that what? So you get more sales, so you get more leads, so you feel more confident. Like, what are the things that you're after, in doing this? And because as a video expert, I might have some other ideas, not to upsell you, but that might be a little bit easier to do. That might be easier on the wallet. We might be able to produce these super fast for you, and you can start using them right now. So I think solutions like that, like, hey, have you thought about YouTube or have you thought about dancing on TikTok or whatever? Because there are some strategies that we can put in place. Sure, we can do this video that you requested, but then, for us to create some additional content for you might not take that much more effort, might not cost that much more money. In really, like with the YouTube strategy, I think that's brilliant just because it's number 2 search engine in the world. It's where people, everybody goes there. So to have some kind of a presence, even if you're not doing weekly videos necessarily, but to have some kind of a consistency in that space, I think it's brilliant.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know if, and maybe I don't know if you know this, and for the folks
I
listening,
probably do.
but so we talk about when you're setting up your YouTube, you can create what are called chapter markers, which are basically just markers throughout that you put in the description that that will jump forward in the video, right? So you can put chapter markers in the video. So those chapter markers are actually being indexed by Google.
Wow.
So by strategically naming those chapters in a search-friendly way, you're actually doubling the potential exposure of those videos. You can't do that on TikTok. And that's why I always TikTok's a bit, I mean, it's good for what it is. It's just not where I think most of my clients should start.
That's really good. Good nugget there. My wheels are already spinning. We've got like a whole series of FAQ videos. How much does it cost for a video? How long does it take to turn a video around? Holy cow, dude! I could just drop that video. It's like a 10 or 12 minute video. I could drop that into YouTube and chapter it out. And I think I'm going to do that after this call. So thank you, Ita. I really appreciate that.
And it's such a simple lift.
Yeah.
Right. Yes, you've already got the footage. You've already got the shot. Throw it up on YouTube, put in some chapter markers, and hopefully get it indexed.
Yeah. It's really good, especially for people who have like no video presence at all, which is like, I feel like 80% of the people that call us wanting video. And it's like, hey, you can get this for your website. And then also we can double up on this and get it over on YouTube. So are you paying or not paying? Are you charging for, is part of what you're offering, hey, we'll set up your channel, we'll kind of build out the strategy stuff for YouTube and handle titling and thumbnails and whatnot?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's, it's along with creating the content, we'll do the titles, the chapters, we'll turning them into shorts.
Yeah.
And just providing that as a whole solution, So if someone's saying, oh, we want to elevate our brand, well, okay, well, let's put this whole package together rather than just talking about doing a video.
Yeah.
Now, that said, I've got actually this is a project I'm pitching on right now, where he's a coach who set up a master class, and he's going to be doing a series. He wants to do a series of videos, a series of YouTube things. And in our conversation, I thought, why don't we start with a video sales letter? Let's start with the funnel. I know he wanted to start with the YouTube content, but I figured if we start with the funnel, what we can start bringing in revenue first. And the revenue from the funnel, or from that initial sign up, is how he's going to be able to pay me to do the content. So, having those kind of conversations rather than just going, okay, what kind of video do you want?
Right. Yeah.
How many episodes? How long does it need to be? I'm trying to bring a bigger solution to the business.
Explain that video sales letter, because I think there's probably a lot of people listening that they don't know funnels, they haven't spent any time there, but we've all experienced them in some way, shape, or form.
Sure. So a video sales letter is basically, it's a landing page. Like you said, we've all kind of seen it before, right? It's a landing page that has a video on it, and it says, I'm looking for this kind of business to do this kind of work. If you're the type of person that's interested in that, click down below. And I think for this particular client, they've got an onboarding application that that prospects need to fill out. And it's pretty much that simple. But we want to be very strategic about how we craft the story that goes in that landing page video. And then we're going to be sending traffic to that page, whether it's going to be YouTube ads or Facebook ads. We haven't gotten that far into the conversation just yet.
Mm-hmm. And so for this guy, let's just say you've got ads promoting this landing page, which isn't his homepage, right? We're talking two different things. His homepage has information about how, who he helps, how he helps them. Click the about page, blah, 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 a bunch of things you can click on, videos, etc. The landing page is built specifically to get leads or conversions for this thing, right?
Yeah, and specifically to get leads for this particular offer. And then once they apply.
I'll just say, like, a lot of us video people have thought, oh, maybe I should be running ads. Maybe I should promote my production company. And so what we do is we run ads to our homepage, right? Come to my homepage, you can see all the things that we do. But why a funnel, like what we're talking about here, is probably a smarter thing to run ads to, right? Because you're trying to solve like one very specific problem. The goal of getting somebody to come to that landing page is either to get their email address or to get money from them. The goal of getting somebody to come to your website, your homepage, usually is for them to get a better understanding of who you are. Maybe you've got a free download on your website. Probably you've got here's our phone number, here's get a quote button, and they fill out some stuff there. So that's kind of the goal. The goal is like, it's a bunch of different things. But for a landing page here, you're creating ads, pushing people to this landing page. They watch this video. And in this case, just for example, you had said, hey, like, let's start with a video sales letter for this guy in particular so that he starts making money. Like, what's an example of something that you would be trying to get somebody to buy into that lands on this video sales page or landing page?
For this client, or like for me?
Yeah, for this client, or just, in general, don't have to get super specific with him.
So for this client, it's a mentoring program. And what he wants to do is explain briefly, okay, this is the mentoring plan or mentoring offer that I'm putting out there. This is the problem I'm trying to solve. And to a degree, it's also qualifying potential leads, right?
Yeah.
It's, as Seth Godin says, who's it for and what's it for, right? This is who it's for. This is what it's for. If that sounds like you, then click the application button down below. If it's not you, that's fine. Mm-hmm. But if it is you, click this button.
Yeah, that's great. I think that's super helpful. And, in our own businesses, we should be thinking, is there something like this that I can offer? And I'll ask you the question, do you have a version of this, or are you planning on some kind of a funnel for your own production business?
Absolutely. Yeah. I've got a couple of them that are in mind. I've just been running around like a crazy person, so I haven't gotten them up yet. But I think I'm a big, I'm really a big proponent of video strategy. I feel like that's where my strength is,
Yeah.
as compared to different aspects of filmmaking. Being able to talk about how to implement video is something that I get really excited about. So that's a specific offer that I want to have. I guess you could say it's kind of like the video blueprint, right? It that specific conversation, and so the offer is, if you're a small business or if you're a thought leader and you're looking to use video and you're trying to get a better handle on it, but you're not quite sure where to start, you're the person I want to talk to.
Yeah.
So click the link below and book a discovery call. That's what that's what that specific page is for. And I'd have a completely separate page for any other offer, whether it's YouTube strategy or storytelling, story development, that kind of thing.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, you think through any kind of offer that you have, and again, like I don't want to get on a soapbox, but most of us, we do custom video, right? So any inquiry that comes in, we're like, oh yeah, we can do that. We can figure out how to do that. Oh yeah, we can do that. We can figure out how to do that. Versus like having, here's our menu of items. We do these 3 things. We do these 5 videos, whatever. So as you think about, oh, maybe I could charge for strategy, which is what we do, right? We do this workshop and we build out this blueprint, and we've been selling this blueprint for $5,000. We've raised the price, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe people are still paying for this thing. They're paying more for it. It's crazy. So having a page that explains, here's exactly what it is. Here's why we do this workshop. Here's the pain points that you have. This is what we're going to solve. If you're ready to book your workshop, buy it now right here. So that's one offer. Another offer might be a brand film. Hey, you need a brand film because it's going to solve X, Y, and Z. Get started here. We've got 3 packages, right? You can pick any of these 3 packages, and it's spelled out. It's very clear. Versus, hey, contact us. We can give you a custom quote on whatever it is that you need.
And I want to give credit where credit is due. I've been learning a lot of stuff through the team over at Muse Storytelling. This concept.
This episode sponsored by Muse Storytelling.
But this idea of getting a series of yeses, right? So this offer, the first yes is to get them to book a discovery call. The second yes is to get them to sign on for this specific offer. But that's not my end goal. It's let me get this initial conversation going so that maybe we can talk about doing a brand film or doing a series or doing an online course or getting it. This is one step within that progression. So for me, these offers on the sales pages are smaller relative to where I'm trying to go, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Well, and 2, like if you're doing any strategy, if you're selling that, when you're building strategy, you're, at least when we do it, we're like, hey, so for the next 12 months, based on what your marketing goals are, we recommend these 10 videos. That's a lot different than somebody calling us and saying, we need a brand film. It's like, okay, whoa. Why do you need a brand film? Like, let's talk more. Let's talk bigger strategy. It's like, oh, okay, well, what if you, instead of doing this one video right now, let's just hit pause on that. What if we did this strategy where we're gonna build out like a whole, because it sounds like you've got a lot of need for content and there could be some other things that might be more helpful right now. So they do this paid workshop and then you present a whole menu of things. They don't have to do they don't have to do any of them, but there's a lot more than just the one thing that they came for originally. Now you've planted seeds and now they're thinking like, oh, okay, well, we're out of budget right now, but next quarter when budgets are renewed, this is a no-brainer for us to do. I mean, that's genius.
Yeah. And, and I think the psychology for us as the filmmakers shifts a little bit once you start thinking about it as a strategy. It's, I go into those conversations, it's more like, here's what I think you should do. Hire me or don't hire me. That's not what this is about.
Right.
I can disconnect from trying to make a sale. I'm here to help. I think I got this from one of your episodes at one point. It's like, stop trying to sell and start trying to help. Right.
Yeah.
It's like, here's how I can help. I can tell you, I know more. This is what I know about video production and the marketing of it. Let me give you this information. Now, from there, if you want to work with me, great. If not, that's cool too. That was also kind of a part of that mind shift or mental shift that I had back in the day. It was like, everybody's got a nephew, cousin, grandkid who knows how to pick up a video camera and knows
Right.
how to shoot, and they can figure that out. So I can't compete in that space.
Right.
But if I can say, okay, let me share my understanding of how story works, how video production works. And if you want to have somebody that do it cheaper, then by all means. But make sure that you've got your bases covered. And
Yeah.
it changes the sales conversation.
Yep. And honestly, like in some cases, that's the most helpful thing that you can do, is to not have them hire you to do video production, but to come up with the plan, because they can only afford this much. And it's like, okay, but if you do this, if you follow this plan, even with that budget, you could hire your nephew. She can do it, and then this person can do it, and then you get some wins. And once you start getting wins, then then maybe at some point you might say, hey Ryan, like let's have you do this bigger brand film that you talked about, or doing this, or we actually need a different strategy because now we want to go all in on YouTube, and my nephew still doesn't know how to do all the things, but if you give us a roadmap, I would love to hire my nephew to do this. So you really become the expert in the plan and the figuring out, and that's where I did an episode recently. We're talking about AI. It's like, you better have some level of strategic thinking going on when you're talking to clients. Otherwise, so many jobs are going to be replaced with AI. Yeah. And if you're only providing, a really cool camera, a good frame shot, and an edit that flows, it's just becoming easier and easier for computers to be able to do a lot of, like, I've got an Osmo Pocket 3 or whatever. It's showing up at the house later today, and I get to put it on my table and walk from here to here, and it's gonna follow me. It's gonna track me. So what used to require a person to do it, it's doing it on its own. And the stuff is just continuing to blow our minds, like, wow, with Sora, wow, I can't believe that you can create imagery that looks like that. And anyway, what are your thoughts?
Well, I was thinking about this, I guess maybe it was 2 days ago, of doing my morning routine, journaling and all of that. Something popped into my head that I hadn't thought about for a while. Seth Godin has this amazing blog post about the 5 levels of freelancing, right? And he says, so level 1 is the mechanical Turk. They basically just crank widgets. So if you've ever been on a site where it says, hey, take this survey and tell us what you think of this website, we'll give you 20 cents for every survey you answer, right? That's the mechanical Turk. It's just pushing buttons and turning levers. Next level up is the handyman. The handyman is basically, they can kind of do it, and the reason they get picked is because they're handy, they're available, they're nearby. Next level up is the craftsperson, and the craftsperson is decidedly good at what they do. Now, with all the AI and everything that's coming along, the handyman can look like the craftsperson very easily, and I think that's where everybody's panicking.
Yeah.
But that's not the top of the ladder. The next step up is being unique. The person who's unique gets picked because they do something a little bit different than everybody else, right? And that's why they get chosen. And then the next step up is those who are remarkable. And the remarkable, they do amazing work, but they get picked not just because of the work they do, but because of who they are, right? So I think of, like, at that level, and I don't pretend to be anywhere near this, but like, you think of like Steven Spielberg, right? Spielberg is an amazing director, but he gets picked because he's an amazing director, but also because he's Steven Spielberg.
Right.
If he were to do a Super Bowl commercial, it's not because of his work as much as someone wants to say, I got Steven Spielberg to make my commercial, right? So I think for all of us, trying to figure out how do we make ourselves unique is kind of the next evolution.
Yeah, dude, that's brilliant. I'm mad that I haven't had you on the show earlier to talk about that kind of stuff. I just, as we build our own brands, right? We have our companies. There's this security that if somebody does hire Steven Spielberg, they might want to be able to brag and say, like, oh yeah, well, this is who we got. But there's also this confidence level of, like, I don't have to worry about a thing because this person knows what to do. And, AI, ChatGPT, it's like waiting for the prompts, right? It still needs to be directed.
Yeah.
So who is directing those? And it's like, yes, like we need to be really good thinkers and strategists, and we need to keep learning and applying ourselves, because like you're saying, if we're not doing anything that is unique, we're not leveraging our own skill set, our own, like, just who we are at the depth of our soul, because we're so different from each other, and we all bring something, so unique. Even if it's just a degree different, it's different. And that's, man, it's just so worth pressing into that, because you can become an incredible filmmaker and know how to light stuff really well and know how to shoot stuff really, really well. But there's so much more to, at least to running a production business, right? Maybe you want to go to Hollywood and that's your goal is to shoot features or whatever. But if you're like me and you want to have a video production business, you have to be a lot more than just really good at making films. There's the experience part. There's like the client experience. What is it like to work with Ryan, to be around Ryan? Is he stressful? Is he joyful? What is that experience like? Because if we're going to spend any time, like, we kind of want to enjoy that experience. And then, does he know what he's talking about? Is there, does he have a track record of success? AI can be an amazing tool that we can leverage, that we can save time, we can produce more content, and it could be more quality content if we're informing the AI well. But doubling down on your own brand, your own uniqueness, your own voice, your own expertise, it's super, super important.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things that I focus on is that client experience, and I'm still trying to develop it and cultivate it. But one of the things that I feel like I've been getting recently is, as I'm doing an interview with a client, they're saying, "Oh, that was so good. It was so cathartic." Like, because we're going places, we're going in deep on some of the topics that we want to share with the audience, and to have them have that reaction after I finish the interview, it's almost as if the video itself is an afterthought after that. That's what I'm aiming at, So
yeah, I love that, dude. What a powerful opportunity that we have to create that feeling of like, wow, that was therapeutic. That felt really good.
And and I, for some reason, I can hear in my head, some of the listeners thinking, oh, okay, but I do work for a tractor company and things like that, and I don't, I'm not going to be able to get that kind of experience. Well, for the person that you're working with, like, there's a reason they got into whatever that business is, right? And those are the kinds of things that I like to explore, like tapping into those kinds of stories. Like, why do you do what you do? Why is what you're doing important? And that's one of the ways I'm setting myself apart. I'm not particularly interested in doing product videos of like, oh, you've got a new widget. Cool. I don't want to really feature that. Now, if you want to show me what that does and how that makes people's lives better, then that's a conversation I want to have. That's a project I want to look at. But if you're just wanting to show the bells and whistles on the app, like the discovery call I had recently, I'm like, we could do that, but maybe thinking about how that app makes the app user's life better. Yeah. Maybe that would be a more interesting conversation to have and a better video to make.
Yeah, so good, dude. One of the notes that you put on here, mindset. What when you think about mindset, what comes to mind? Set.
Yeah, so part of it is kind of like what we've been talking about. It's the idea of, if it's just got to get more leads, got to get more clients, I got to do more work. Like, and like, if you're just competing on price, my question is that the right mindset?
Yeah.
Why did you get into this? Right.
Yeah.
These days there's a difference between a content creator and a filmmaker, and you can choose whichever one you want.
Yeah.
But I think the content creator is really good at being a craftsperson and doing all the tools and being able to churn out a bunch of content. And there's definitely a place for that.
Yeah.
The filmmaker is a different mindset.
Yeah.
And I'm so that's where I start asking myself, well, why did I get into this? I got into this to be a filmmaker. As a matter of fact, I got into this to make films for myself. It wasn't really, I didn't learn all these tools and techniques and things initially so that I could go do it for other people. I have my own, stories and movies and things that I wanted to make. So I have to kind of check myself and say, okay, well, what is it that we're trying to do? We're trying to be a filmmaker. Okay, well, then what kind of films do you want to make? You can make content too, but filmmaking is where I want to go.
Thinking about these things is so healthy. That's why, I kind of mentioned before, quarterly, yearly, be thinking through your goals and what do you want? What does a successful year look like? What does this quarter need to look like if we want to reach the goal for that year? But even defining, are you creating content or are you creating films, stories? Being clear on what that is, what you're after, because then you have something to chase. You have areas to be refined in and to grow in versus like just anything video. And I've had countless conversations, and for years early on, that's where I was at. It's like, yeah, if anybody calls us for video, we'll figure it out. We'll do it. We still do that kind of to an extent, but not entirely like it was back in the day. Figuring out what do you want to do and what don't you want to do can be really, really helpful.
And I think going back to what we were talking about earlier when we were talking about the landing pages and the offers, I think we can also give ourselves permission to offer both, just understanding that they're different, right? I can have a special offer that is focused on just content creation.
Yep.
But then I can have another offer that's focused on brand films and being clear in my own head that that's what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Then I can talk to different audiences differently.
Totally. Yeah. And that's, I mean, honestly, I just wrote in the shower, I wrote a note to myself to segment my audience and try to understand who's in my audience and what do they need. If they could snap their fingers or wave a wand and they had whatever video or marketing content, being able to identify that, then I can make very clear offers to those particular groups. And I've thought through 40-minute documentaries, sports, legacy type features. If I could do that for the rest of my life, I think I would be just the happiest person on the planet. Has it been, have we done any of those? We've done a couple. Are we busy 9 to 5 every day doing them? No. Would I like to be? Sure. In the meantime, I got to feed my family and feed my team. And so guess what? We're also really good at just capturing really great content that can help your business. And to be able to have those offers very distinct and very clear and in different places, right? Because if everything's in the same place and you're offering everything and from the same menu, it loses its uniqueness, and it can just be hard for somebody to really understand. Well, what is it that you do? So by having separate pages, like if you do weddings, golly, get that off your commercial filmmaking website. Still you can do it for sure. But if you want to do sport documentaries, have a landing page that talks about you and your passion and has some samples and build that out and share that, shop that around to the people that might be interested in that. And then your regular production page, maybe it's more general, or maybe it's specific, but it's just not sports specific.
And I mean, I haven't done the requisite, I guess, research on this, but I think the way your homepage, your website, that's about you, right? But for the most part, people, I don't know, I don't think people are just going to randomly find your website, right?
Right.
So when you start talking about these different landing pages geared towards specific audiences, that's what you're going to push out into the world, and that's what people are going to find.
Yeah.
So it absolutely makes sense to me to kind of segment those, right? Now, when they do finally go to your website, Like that should be about you and your brand and what you care about, right?
Mm-hmm.
So not just that, hey, we can solve all your problems. I'm a huge fan of Donald Miller and the story brand
Yeah.
of it all. But I think that in those spaces, that's the opportunity to really talk about, hey, this is who we are and this is how we solve problems.
Yeah.
This is what makes us different. Not, and it's not as much about you know, the production side of it.
Mm-hmm.
For the most part, people who are hired, they don't know the difference between HD and Ultra HD and 4K. They don't know any of that stuff
Right.
anyway. So why do we put that on our website? With the caveat of, if you're doing work with agencies,
Right.
okay, well then know that that's your audience and
Yep.
you talk to them differently.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So good. Ita, this is so fun, man. I love your perspective. You are a smart dude, and it's fun to go to the school of Ita today. Thank you for doing this. Are you on social? Where can people follow along with some of the stuff that you're doing?
Yeah, you can find me on YouTube at youtube.com at View From Above Net. I'm trying to get back into building my channel, and it's really about process, productivity, and production. I think a lot of folks out there in the YouTube land talk a lot about cameras and kits and all of that. And while that's cool, I'm a freak for productivity and getting things done.
Yeah.
So that's really the space that I'm putting that channel in. And then just for my own personal fun, I do a lot of 3D animation work. So if you want to find me on Instagram, you can kind of see some of the virtual production things I'm playing around with on that side.
Love it. So good. How do you want to leave us today?
What do I want to leave with? Just, I guess, the idea that what we do, we have a unique opportunity and we have a unique perspective as compared to the marketers out there. So we should really be leaning into the story that we're telling and the fact that we are craftspeople. I think that what we do is we're uniquely positioned to know more about video and story than any other marketers out there. And I think we should all be leveraging that, taking advantage.
So good. Love it. Ita, appreciate you so much, my man. So glad we got to do this. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, I'm so happy that you joined me today with Ita. What a stud. Seriously, so grateful that he came on and hung out with us. If you like this episode, feel free to share it. I appreciate that. It helps the algorithm, helps get us more exposure, and helps me feel like, hey, we're doing the thing here and people are enjoying it and liking it. If you're watching this video, if there's a takeaway, something that you're gonna start doing, stop doing because of the things that we talked about, throw that in the comments. I'd love to see those, read those, respond to those. And if there's anything I can do for you, don't hesitate to send me an email. My email address is ryan@studiosherpas.com. That's studiosherpas.com. Would love to hear from you. And it's, at least right now, it's not an AI bot responding. It would be me or my assistant, Tina. So we'd love to hear from you and yeah, would love to help you. So that's all I got, my friend. Thank you so much for being here. I'll see you on next week's episode. Bye for now.